Hello everybody, it is me, I am back once again. We're going to be watching part 2 of the Ace Attorney Elements of Justice case of Case 2, Episode 8, Wind en Route. So yeah, we've ended at the hour point, which I've said on the last video that would end on the hour mark. We're going to end it on the other hour to end the video off, and then we're going to be watching the 8.5 video afterwards called A Hanging Omen, which is very short, 2 minutes and 51 seconds for that one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that one will turn out. But as of now, yeah, let's get this case going. Yeah, let's get this going in 3, 2, 1, go.
The tip was delivered around 4:45 p.m. on the 13th, when Silver Spoon was busy getting her glasses replaced.
Oh, I would give more details about it, but my eyes are a bit. Or they're still looming over my sleep.
Then she might have been given it by the true author. Is that what you're thinking, Miss Sykes?
Go.
Diamond Tiara? What now? I know you're scared for Silver Spoon, but figuring out what we can about this magazine is crucial to helping her, even if you can't see it. Do you remember any details about Silver Spoon when she brought the magazine to your house? Anything at all? DT, please. Please, Diamond Tiara. I know I have no right to ask this of you, but there's a way to protect Silver Spoon, and it depends on what you're able to tell us. Okay, fine. DT, hang on. Not now, Sylvie. Just trust me, okay? I'm doing this for your sake. Diamond? When Sylvie came into my bedroom with the magazine, I saw that she had a small patch on her coat that was red.
Oh.
Stained red?
Blood.
With blood, I would presume?
Yeah.
So, she had been bleeding very recently. But what could have caused the injury?
There's no way. Could it really be? I think I know the answer, Your Honor.
You do?
Yes. And it has to do with something that happened yesterday, too.
With what happened when she carried
While we were
Sweetie Belle?
investigating in preparation for defending Sweetie Belle, we learned from Apple Bloom that there'd been a break-in at Carousel Boutique.
Ah, yes.
We heard of that break-in earlier, too.
A break-in? Oh dear. Has the perpetrator been found?
They could have
Well,
been,
the
yeah.
police have cordoned off the area and are conducting their own investigation. Regrettably, they have not yet found the culprit.
And neither did we when we searched the boutique after hearing of the incident.
Could it
Though we did
be?
find some
Could it
clues as to their
be?
identity. Namely, a few drops of blood. Rarity's cat, Opalescence, had attacked them.
Oh my
No
god.
doubt that the blood belonged to the culprit. And, coincidentally, we have on the stand some pony who, just yesterday, had
Also been bleeding.
Also? Been bleeding? Miss Sykes, are you saying?
I am, Your Honor. The defense believes that the pony who broke into Carousel Boutique was none other than...
Silver Spoon.
Objection!
Defense? That is absurd. Have you forgotten a key element to that whole affair?
A key element, Prosecutor Luna?
Carousel Boutique was completely locked up. All the windows, all the doors. There'd be no way for an Earth pony like Miss Silverspoon to get inside. Not unless she had an accomplice, such as a unicorn to teleport her. And who would do that for her?
Well,
That's what we thought too. But what if we've all been wrong about that?
Wrong?
We've all been assuming that the boutique was fully locked up. We know that it was after the crime, but we don't know for sure if it was locked up before.
yes.
It is quite quite possible that the true perpetrator had already entered and only locked up the place when they were leaving.
That is still speculation, Golden Pixie.
Maybe not, Prosecutor Luna. Has any pony taken a look at the front door's lock?
The front door's lock? What about it?
It's not an ordinary kind of lock. It's specifically a thumb-turn cylinder lock. The way it works is that it can be locked from the inside while the door's open, and then the door can close behind someone as they leave. Let's say that I'm right then, that the culprit did lock the place only when they were leaving. They'd be able to thanks to this thumb-turn lock. In doing so, they'd create the illusion that Carousel Boutique had been broken into while it had actually been already locked up completely.
Preposterous. In order for that to work, Defense, some pony would have to leave one of the entrances to the boutique unlocked for the perpetrator to enter at all.
Yes.
But Miss Rarity already told the police that she'd locked up the place before she headed to yesterday's trial. So there was no pony else around to unlock it.
No pony else. I'm not sure about that, Prosecutor Luna. There was, in fact, one pony who could have done that deed. They'd be the one to have orchestrated this elaborate illusion for us all to see. And they'd have done it so that Miss Silverspoon could have entered the boutique unhindered.
Then, who is
I'm
this
thinking of a
mysterious
turning
pony,
page.
Sykes?
Couldn't it be?
It was the only other pony who'd been with Rarity that very same day.
Sweetie Belle. Yeah.
Sweetie?
Sweetie Belle.
Yeah, Sweetie Belle. That's right.
Here's how I think the whole incident happened. Before Sweetie Belle left with Rarity for yesterday's trial, she left one of the boutique's entrances unlocked. She then would have told Silver Spoon about the unlocked entrance, telling her to break in that way.
But when could she have told her that?
It would have been yesterday, just before the trial for Scootaloo and Turning Page began. They were both already at the courtroom after all. Sweetie Belle had been brought by Rarity, and Silver Spoon and Diamond Tiara had been summoned by you, Prosecutor Luna.
I think I get what you mean, Athena. And I'm even pretty sure I know how the opportunity to talk to Silver Spoon could have arisen.
You do?
Yes. You see, Your Honor, that morning, right before the trial began, there was a pretty big argument between the three Cutie Mark Crusaders. Afterwards, Sweetie Belle ran off. She could have used that moment to search for Silver Spoon and share her plan.
A plan which would involve breaking into Carousel Boutique.
But why would she need some pony to break in the first place?
The only reason I can think of is that Sweetie Belle needed something inside that she couldn't get while she was with Rarity.
Yes.
So, Silver Spoon entered via the open entrance. She must have locked it behind her to avoid being caught. After some time, she must have found whatever she was looking for and began to leave.
Those
That was when she
opalescence.
was attacked by Rarity's cat, Opalescence. She drew blood, forcing Silver Spoon to get away by going through the front door. And as she was leaving, she engaged the thumb-turn lock and closed the door behind her. That locked up the boutique completely and created the illusion that it had always been locked.
Nailed it.
No, that's not true. I was never near Carousel Boutique. I've never talked to Sweetie Belle.
Yet you were bleeding when you went into Diamond Tiara's house.
Yes.
All we need to do is find the area on you where you've been bleeding and test the blood against the blood found in the boutique. But you and I both know that won't be necessary, Silver Spoon. There's no point in hiding it. Admit it. You were the one who broke into Carousel Boutique yesterday.
Admit it, Silver Spoon.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I admit it. It was me. Before I went to Diamond Tiara's house, I broke into Carousel Boutique. Silver Spoon!
But
Oh, and Sweetie Belle.
for the boutique.
It was the magazine, wasn't it?
Yes.
Diamond Tiara said you brought it to her house yesterday. You must have gone to the boutique in order to retrieve it. We might not know that for certain, but I think it'd be easy enough to check.
That's true. We could ask Rarity to see if the magazines belong to her. We could
Rarity,
even
are
search
you
the
in the
boutique
crowd?
to see if
Is
there
this
are
yours?
evidence to show that a magazine had gone missing.
Yes, it would be simple. But to break into the boutique, all for a magazine?
It's not so innocuous, Your Honor. Have you forgotten why we started down this path in the first place? That magazine has some of its pages cut. Some magazine cuttings were found in the anonymous tip that implicated Turning Page. Those cuttings match the ones found in the magazine. And that means... Miss Sykes.
Yes, Prosecutor Luna?
Turning.
Whoa. She looks... tired.
This is the conclusion you'd come to before, isn't it?
It is.
Then, perhaps you had best tell the court.
Tell the court what exactly?
Thank you for trusting in me, Prosecutor Luna. I know it couldn't have been easy.
Oh no.
Your Honor, now that we have confirmed all of this, we now know the true identity of the pony who sent that anonymous tip.
Oh
It was
no.
whoever owned that magazine and could cut it up.
Oh no.
Can only be Sweetbelle herself.
Oh no.
But that's not all. Now that we know that, we can also figure out why she asked Silver Spoon to break into Carousel Boutique to retrieve that magazine. Sweetbelle did not want it known that she wrote the anonymous tip. So, she needed to pin the blame on some pony else by implicating them through underhanded means. As the court will recall, when I first brought out this magazine and said it had been found in Diamond Tiara's home, it was believed she was the true sender of the tip. But that was all a ruse orchestrated by Sweetbelle. She had Silver Spoon steal the magazine from Carousel Boutique and plant it in Diamond Tiara's bedroom.
That still doesn't mean I wrote it. Or heck, I even sent it. How'd I be able to do that, huh? I can't just walk up to the police station and leave it there. All the officers would see me. If I did send that tip, how could I have delivered it?
Sugar stamp.
She wouldn't have had an opportunity to send it by traditional means.
Sugar stamp.
Exactly.
Sugar stamp.
Could Sugar Stamp have helped in any way?
Yep.
No. After all, she'd have no way of making the tip. She wasn't the one who had the magazines. Sweetbelle was.
Yeah, but the
And
tip.
if she couldn't have sent it traditionally, what if there was a way to send it in a non-traditional manner?
Non-traditional.
Non-traditional. Oh, Twilight.
No. You don't mean...
Murder?
Huh? Hold on a second. Where are Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, and Spike?
Spike headed out just after you guys left for the detention center.
I asked him to go check in on Sweetie Belle for me. I suppose he must still be with her.
Oh!
Way that it makes sense.
Oh!
Have you found an answer?
We have, Your Honor.
Oh my god!
You have?
Your Honor, at the time that the tip was sent on the 13th, Rarity had sent my friend Spike to check up on Sweetbelle, who had said she hadn't been feeling that well. Spike is a baby dragon, and he has a special ability. He can send letters via his magic fire breath.
Spike!
So I see.
Spike!
Yep. He stayed here way too long for him to not even bat an eye at that.
Yeah.
You're saying that when Spike went up to check on Sweetie Belle, she could have asked him to send that tip to the police station?
Yeah.
That's right. And she could have asked him to do it. And to
Keep it a secret. So Sugar Stamp would have been like, can you keep a secret from me? Can you use your dragon fire breath to send this anonymous tip in?
Whether or not he knew
Thank you.
that the name was an anonymous tip
There you go.
implicating Turning Page, Spike still sent it anyway. That's how it was delivered without any pony seeing who sent it.
But wait a minute! You also said that I fought Silver Spoon to get that magazine back in order to free Diamond Tiara. But why would Silver Spoon do that to her best friend? Yeah, why?
I suspect it has to do with what happened in the woods the night of Royal Order's murder. If Silver Spoon really helped Sweetbelle when she was hurt, that also means she was the one who went to Zikora's hut to steal a healing potion. I think, using that information against her, Sweetbelle could have persuaded Silver Spoon into helping enact her plan.
That only holds up if Silver Spoon really did help me that night. And there's no proof she did.
You're right in saying there's no proof she did help you. But there's an easy way of determining that once and for all.
There is?
In the previous trial, we learned that both Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon had blood on their hooves. We thought it belonged to Royal Order, but Silver Spoon confessed before we could verify that. Yet, today, Silver Spoon admitted that instead of joining Diamond Tiara in the gorge, she chased after Scootaloo and Turning Page. Diamond Tiara still got her hooves bloody by touching the body, but somehow, so did Silver Spoon. So how did her hooves get bloody if she hadn't touched the body? And whose blood did it belong to?
No.
That blood could only belong to Sweetie Belle.
Yeah.
Silver Spoon's hooves got covered in it when she helped make the tourniquet.
Yeah.
All we need to do is conduct one final blood test. And then we'd know for certain that Silver Spoon did help her that night. And that would confirm everything else. The sending of the anonymous tip, the break-in at Carousel Boutique, and the framing of Diamond Tiara.
Yep.
It was all planned and orchestrated by Sweetie Belle.
Yep, she's breaking. Yep. Yep. And there is the conclusion.
Sweetie Belle? All that the defense has claimed has been laid out in full. The only thing left is for you to confirm everything. I know you're scared. I know you want to run. But there can be no more running. Not from this. You must face the truth once and for all. Please. Think of your sister, who no doubt sits in the gallery worried out of her mind. Think of your friends. This whole affair must surely come to a shock to all of them. You will no doubt have to face their reactions once outside of this courtroom. The time for reparations will occur then. But for now, you must tell us.
What really happened that night? That goes for you too, Silver Spoon.
Me?
I know that night was traumatic for both of you, but we have a chance to confront it. Please, tell us what happened.
Okay, Athena.
Right.
That night was the scariest night of my life. I really thought after that Timberwolf attacked me, I wouldn't make it out. That I'd die, alone, in that dumb forest.
You thought you'd die? Just how severe was your injury?
My leg had nearly been ripped off. I guess the Timberwolf had gone crazy after it ate Royal Order's body. Like it was drunk with blood or something. I could barely stay conscious long enough to get behind the statue. That was when I showed up. DT told me to chase after Scootaloo and Turning Page, but I never found them. What I did find, however, was blood on the crossroads. I thought one of them had gotten hurt, so I followed it to its source. It led me to the statue, but there wasn't any pony there. I was about to leave when I heard what sounded like moaning coming from behind the statue. I was already scared by everything that happened, but I couldn't help being curious and, well, I went to look behind the statue. What I found was Sweetie Belle. She was in a very bad state. I remember calling out to her, too shocked to do anything else. She didn't respond, just made another moan. One that sounded weaker than the last.
Oh God.
And that was when you decided to help her.
I couldn't just let her bleed out there. My parents work in a hospital. They understand the value of pony life. And even though
Pony life.
they still taught me the importance of all lives, too.
Using, I assume, what medical knowledge you do have, you managed to scrape together the force to bring to fashion this tourniquet, thus allowing you to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, and I stayed there. by Sweetie Belle's side until she regained consciousness.
When I awoke, I felt fuzzy and disoriented, so I didn't recognize who was next to me. But then I realized it was Silver Spoon. I was shocked. I tried asking her why she was there, but all she did was ask me questions about how I was feeling. Then she asked if I could walk. I looked at my leg and saw the tourniquet, and when I stood, I found I could move a little.
The tourniquet wouldn't hold forever, though, and Sweetie Belle's wounds were bad. She needed to get to a hospital, but we were too deep in the Everfree Forest to get there in time. I asked if she had any idea as to what we should do, and she said she knew a place that had a healing potion we could use to fix her leg.
You mean Zikora's hut?
Uh-huh.
We walked there together and knocked on her door, but there wasn't any pony home. So Silver Spoon went inside to grab the potion herself. I don't know what Zikora puts in that stuff, but it managed to seal the wound almost immediately, and I could walk without it hurting.
With Sakura, a whole lot of
Did itch for a
flowers.
while afterwards, though.
You then made your way out of the Everfree Forest afterwards?
Yeah. I also saw Sweetie Belle home so that she didn't have to walk alone. We started talking.
About what?
My friendship with Diamond Tiara.
What?
I'm kinda jealous of you three.
Us three? You mean me, Applebloom, and Scootaloo? Why?
Because you all seem so close. You get to have fun with each other all the time.
Oh,
Well, yeah. That's because we're friends. Don't you get to do that sort of thing with Diamond Tiara?
Please don't ever tell Diamond Tiara what I'm about to tell you. Promise me.
Alright.
I don't really think DT and I are friends like you three. We definitely don't get along like you girls do. Sometimes I think it's because we're really just filling in gaps that our parents left for us. Diamond Tiara's parents are them, and mine aren't ever around.
oh.
That's really sad, Silver Spoon. How'd you two even meet?
At a party. Something that the Riches threw, and that my parents and I were invited to. Of course, when we went, my parents left me to go talk to other ponies. But that was when I met Diamond Tiara. Because we were the same age, we really hit it off. And for a while I thought that was alright, you know? I thought that was what I wanted out of a friendship. But now I see how you act around Scootaloo and Applebloom. How you're always smiling and laughing. And it makes me feel less happy with whatever I have with DT. Like I realize I've been missing something.
If that's the case, then why don't you just say you don't want to be friends with her anymore?
Because I'm scared that if I do, I won't have anyone else to talk to. And then no one will want to talk to me.
Silver Spoon, I have to ask. Did you take part in that blackmailing? Did you steal our stuff and leave that letter for us to find?
I did.
You shouldn't have done that, Silver Spoon. No pony wants to be friends with a blackmailer.
I know that. I'm sorry.
Thank you for helping me out, though.
You're welcome, Sweetie Belle. Actually, I don't know if I have any right to ask this, but, do you think you'd ever want to hang out?
Oh.
Guess not. Can't say I blame her, though.
Yeah, she locked the door.
The next day, I was still at home trying to recover from my injury when I heard from Rarity that Scootaloo had been arrested.
That's also when we learned from Rarity that you were feeling sick.
Yeah.
I remember you weren't that cooperative when we went to talk to you.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry, Princess Twilight, but I was really worried. I mean, I knew that the murder had occurred at the statue, but I'd been there too. My blood was at the scene.
There's gonna be a slight pause.
That's
The Wi-Fi's
That's
just
why I didn't
cut
want
out.
home. But even so, I couldn't
suffer. So after you and the others left, I decided to write that anonymous tip.
Saying that Turning Page had killed his father in the Everfree Forest?
Yep. But at first, I didn't really want to go through with it. It wasn't until Spike showed up to check on me that I decided to have it sent anyway. He asked me what it was, but I told him to trust me, that it wasn't anything bad. I also told him that if he did this, I'd set him up on a date with Rarity.
Sweetie Belle, that's incredibly manipulative of you.
What the hell?
I know that. But I had to do it when I had the courage. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to.
Sweetie.
Not that it ended up working out anyway.
Alright, and we're back. The Wi-Fi has fully been re-established and we can continue. Right, 1 hour 24 minutes we've gotten to, so got more than 30 minutes to go. Let's get back into it with Sweetie and Silver Spoon's confession. 3, 2, 1, go.
Turning Page getting accused didn't get Scootaloo acquitted. If anything, it just made the whole situation worse for the two of them. I also knew that at some point, I'd be found out. And I couldn't bear to face Scootaloo if she learned what I did to Turning, knowing how she feels. So that's when I decided to try and plant the magazine in Diamond Tiara's home. That way, Scootaloo would think she sent it, not me.
I sense that was not the only reason, however.
No, I did it too because I wanted to get back at Diamond Tiara for what she did to us.
But even then, you couldn't actually plant the magazine yourself. Rarity forced you to come to the trial.
I was even more afraid then. I thought for sure I'd be arrested. So I needed a way to make sure it wasn't on any pony's radar.
And that must have led to you leaving one of the entrances to the boutique unlocked.
Right. The back door one. While Rarity was preparing to leave, I thought about how I could get this plan to work. And realized I'd have to rely on Silver Spoon. I had a feeling she and Diamond Tiara would show up during the trial once the blackmail was uncovered. So I was sure I'd be able to find her then.
That would have been right after the fight you had in the lobby before the trial.
It wasn't hard to find her. She was in the witness lobby waiting to be summoned. I figured that whatever happened during the trial, she and Diamond would get off thanks to their families. Which meant she'd be available to help me after the trial, which was what my plan needed to happen. I managed to get her away from Diamond Tiara to talk to her alone, and that was when I told her my plan. But I didn't want to do it. She was asking me to break into some pony's house and steal something for Celestia's sake. Even if it was with her permission, it was out of the question. I tried to convince her that it wasn't worth staying attached to Diamond's hip when she was about to sing. I even brought up what she said in the previous night. But Silver Spoon wouldn't budge, no matter what I said.
So that's when you had to play a different card.
Yeah. I demanded that Silver Spoon do what I asked, or I told Diamond what she told me, and Sakura about the potions she stole.
Jesus.
You blackmailed her.
That potion! I only learned later that it was in high demand at the hospital. If my parents learned that I'd stolen and used it, they'd be furious. So, I had no choice. I said I'd do what she'd asked.
Oh my
In the
god,
end,
Sweetie
what I was
Belle.
afraid of did happen. I was found out and arrested. But my plan still worked. Silver Spoon wasn't detained for long and made her way to the boutique to steal the magazine. It was just like you described, Davina. I entered through the unlocked entrance and found the magazine. But then I got attacked by opalescence, and she scratched me a little. I managed to get away through the front door, engaging the lock before it closed. Afterwards, I went to DT's house to place the magazine in the trash. That was just a few minutes before you all arrived. But that's everything. Everything Silver Spoon did. Everything I did. Everything.
Sweetie Belle. At least she confessed. And not the way that we wanted it to be.
There is some tragic irony in all of this, Sweetie Belle. which I do not think you realized.
Tragic irony?
These actions you took, don't they seem quite familiar to you?
Blackmail, framing, subterfuge, lying. They're nearly the same actions Diamond Tiara took against you, your friends, and Turning Page.
Yeah.
In trying to stop what she was doing, you ended up doing what she did anyway.
Yeah, you follow Diamond
This little
Tiara's
party became your vicious
footsteps.
predator, biting back with vengeance.
You're right. You're completely right. What have I done?
Oh my god, this has been
Witnesses, you may step down from the stand now.
this has been really solemn. That bit's been really solemn. Holy crap.
Miss Sykes,
Yes, Prosecutor Luna?
it appears we have come to an end of the winding trail you set us upon. We have managed to uncover a great deal of revelations, and with them some complicated feelings, I am sure.
Yeah.
Much has been said now about what happened following this murder. And we have managed, I believe, to piece together a fuller picture of the actions many took these past few days. But this discovery, this confession, these revelations, what were they all for?
What were they all for?
Indeed. In perhaps an equally tragically ironic sense, we have learned much about everything around the murder, but very little about the murder itself.
Yes.
I must agree.
That's the revelation
Or is
around
the
it,
fault
but
against
it's
this
the
confession
main
false?
focus that we
Has it
haven't
led us to
really.
uncovering anything further about the true nature of Royal Order's
I mean,
murder?
it goes back to all Sugar Stamp,
I think we have
Fair
at least uncovered
Devotion,
one
and
thing. You noticed
Private
it as
Eye.
well, Athena?
I did, Twilight.
Back to those three.
Your Honor, what we just heard from Silver Spoon and Sweetie Belle doesn't just reveal to us their part in all of this. It also reveals a huge contradiction.
And just what would this huge contradiction be?
Let me show you. Silver Spoon said that she had followed after Turning Page in Scootaloo, right?
Yeah.
She went down the crossroads before she ended up at the statue. Now, we know that she went there before Royal Order's body ended up near the castle ruins. That tells us that she must have been chasing them around the same time that Sugar Stamp was flying over.
You're saying
Precisely. Sugar Stamp told us that when she was flying over the path, she saw
Two
two
ponies.
heading towards each other.
Yeah.
One was Zecora, and the other was Turning Page. But she never mentioned seeing Silver Spoon or any pony else on the path. How could she have missed her? But neither Zecora nor Turning Page.
Aha! That is quite the contradiction, isn't it?
so. Miss Sugar Stamp's confession contradicts Silver Spoon's. How do you explain that, Miss Sykes? Was Silver Spoon lying?
I don't think so, no. Too many of her events match up with our evidence. That leaves us with Sugar Stamp's confession. It's far more likely she's the one lying about who she saw.
We also know, from what Private Eye confessed to, that the murder weapon was fabricated too.
Yeah.
Her entire confession and testimony must be false.
Furthermore, the fact that Private Eye went out of his way to fabricate such evidence tells us he did so in order to support her entire confession.
Yeah.
Her entire confession? You mean not just the murder, but also...
Right, Your Honor. Her moving the body is also a fabrication. In other words, everything that Sugar Stamp allegedly confessed to, murdering Royal Order of the Clearing, moving his body, and framing Turning Page and Scootaloo,
It's a
is
lie.
nothing but a carefully crafted lie.
You lie, Sugar Stamp. You lie.
We all own a lot of clothes. Whether it's shirts or shoes. With Vinted, you can list items in a flash Hand down your money back. All with 0 fees. Don't wear it, sell it. Download Vinted.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday, so book summer now.
So you return to that claim yet again, Miss Sykes. Yet I am not sure that Sugar Stamp and Private Eye were in cahoots over this. But even if I were convinced, surely even you can see how what you propose puts us all in a difficult situation.
Difficult? How so, Prosecutor Luna?
Your Honor, if the defense is right, that the body at the clearing was neither moved nor killed by Sugar Stamp, then what actually did happen? For regardless of what did happen, one thing remains certain. The body was still moved.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. I would like to know what the defense thinks.
Again, this brings me to
Okay,
lawkeeper acquitted. I don't know.
You need to take a moment and think this through one step at a time. If I'm right about this, then we have no explanation for how the body was moved. But maybe I need to change my thinking here. Instead of focusing on how to explain the body being moved, maybe I should focus on why the body needed to be moved in the first place.
Okay.
Sugar Stamp and Private Eye were working together to falsify the events that happened at the clearing. So whatever they produced cannot be trusted.
Oh, this is cool.
Taking that into consideration, what do we have that we know can be trusted definitively? What can tell us what happened in that clearing?
Oh my god. The blood found by Sonata.
Of course! Sonata found blood at the clearing. Private was in court during the blood's discovery, so there's no way he could have faked a blood test for it. That means that this really is Royal Order's blood. But what does that tell us? All we could really say is that a big pool of his blood was there at the scene. Is there anything that could point to where it came from?
Blood rings round the trees.
That's right. The blood rings belong to Royal Order too. They didn't end up there when he died, so somebody else had to have splashed his blood. And when they did so, they must have splashed the blood in the direction of the clearing. Yet somehow, no one reported this blood being found on the ground. How could the blood have gotten only onto the trees and formed in such a weird way? What if...
Blood fell from the sky, bows moved by levitation. Yes, I was just about to say that.
That's it! If the blood was moved from one place to another using unicorn levitation, then it would likely form the rings around the trees. Then that suggests that the blood found at the clearing came from the blood at the statue, which would mean there was never a murder in the clearing to begin with, only at the statue. But that means...
Boom! There was no clone!
So, that means this entire time, we've been chasing after a ruse?
No clone. No clone.
This is somehow even more insane than the clone theory itself. I hate having to backpedal on things like this. But it's the only thing that can explain everything we've uncovered. Even so, our entire position was built on that theory. Now I know it's wrong. But who could have set this whole thing in motion? And why?
Athena? What's wrong? You look like you're about to throw up.
Twilight, I just figured something out.
Great. Does it help us?
I think so, but it also doesn't.
Huh?
Miss Sykes, I believe we've waited long enough. Prosecutor Luna has asked for an explanation, and the court would very much appreciate hearing it.
I don't know how to feel about this. I think I'm on the right track here, but...
Athena,
Huh?
what you figured out, do you think it'll help us find the truth?
I guess, yeah.
But it's...
Then we have to tell the court, no matter what. Even if it might hurt us now. If it takes us even one step closer.
Are they even in this pony?
I know I've been asking this a lot, Twilight, but are you with me?
Always. And to the very end.
Miss Sykes, I sense that whatever it is you are about to tell the court is causing you some amount of discomfort. Nonetheless, you cannot relent. You've demonstrated a tremendous level of both faith and ingenuity while defending your clients. What you need now is resolve. The necessary resolve to stand tall and go forward with your beliefs. And prove to me that I was not mistaken in mine about trusting you. Is this something you can muster?
Yes, I think so. So, first, let me ask you something. You still believe that there were 2 royal orders that night, correct?
Yes. The 2 bloodstains found at the clearing and the statue prove that 2 royal orders were in the Everfree Forest.
They do, if we take those stains at face value.
What are you talking about?
Here's the thing, Prosecutor Luna. Ever since the previous trial, we all believed that clones were involved. Royal Order went to the mirror pool in order to clone himself.
Yes, that was your reasoning.
Yeah.
Defense, where are you going with this?
But now, when we take into account at least one of those areas where the blood was found was part of the phony confession, our initial theory gets placed under a new light.
Yes.
Athena, you don't mean...
Yes. Here we go. Here goes.
Twilight, I believe that despite everything we've heard, despite everything we've supposedly uncovered,
Get ready for it.
the fact of the matter is that this clone
Baloney!
existed in the first place.
Be still.
Pixie, have you taken leave of your senses? The existence and subsequent involvement of a clone was your postulation to begin with.
Indeed, Miss Sykes. How is it that now of all times you decide to abandon that theory altogether?
Well, she made a big brain academy moment, that's why.
When I considered all of the possibilities, I couldn't have anticipated this.
Me neither. But please, just hear me out. I know that was what we were arguing before, but I just now realized our line of thinking was completely wrong.
How could it be? You provided a perfectly sound explanation as to how clones, as absurd as the idea initially was, could be involved with the murder.
That's just it. I think the explanation was too perfect.
Explain, defense.
Here's what I think. When Twilight and I proposed the clone theory, Private Eye had been listening and told Sugar Stamp about it after the trial.
Yeah.
They must have used that idea to create this false narrative about the clone.
You mean they didn't plan this from the start?
I don't think so. No one thought of clones until we brought it up.
Yeah.
Then, afterwards, everything began lining up with Sugar Stamp's confession.
Yeah.
Why would they do this? Why would they go so far just to create the illusion of there being clones involved?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Then I must reject this madness outright. You know such speculation is not permitted in this court. I thought I could rely on you to abide by that at least. You need proof, and I demand you show it to us immediately.
Proof that there were no clones. How can I show that?
This is what you meant before, when you said this could both help and not help us.
What about the blood rings?
I know it throws everything we've been arguing out the window, Twilight, but
No, I see the logic in it. Admittedly, it's a bit simplistic in scope, but they do say that sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. In which case, I think this might actually be the truth.
you do?
else about them must not be real too. Like the circumstances around their creation, maybe.
The circumstances.
But
Circumstances,
we
right?
have to somehow show those circumstances aren't real either. But short of time traveling back to the moment the clones were supposedly created, which incidentally is now impossible to do.
I got it. I know how to show that.
You do?
Yep. Thanks, Twilight. Okay. You want proof, Prosecutor Luna? You got it. Take that.
A photo of the mirror pool's entrance? How is this proof?
Look closer. On the boulder itself, you can see a particular species of
Day
These
bloomers.
are day bloomers. True to their name, they only bloom during the day. But that's not all. If you look at the vines on the flowers themselves, you can see that they've been cut. If Royal Order had moved the boulder on the night of the murder in order to access the mirror pool, then the flowers shouldn't have blossomed in the following days. Yet, when my friends and I arrived at the scene, they were all blooming. This could only mean that some pony moved that rock in the middle of the day. Perhaps even recently. Possibly after the previous trial and after we presented our clone theory.
Oh.
That certainly makes an alarming amount of sense.
Pro-
But who could have moved the boulder then?
There was only one pony who'd be able to do that.
Private Eye.
Private Eye.
Private Eye? How?
When we were investigating the mirror pool yesterday, Private Eye let it slip that he was the first of his team to come across the boulder.
Yeah. Yeah, he was the
When I
first.
first found the key, it was already open like this.
Because of that, he'd be able to make it look like the boulder had already been moved by Royal Order.
That's right.
Objection!
This doesn't prove there were no clones, though.
How come?
Because of how you and Miss Sykes determined definitely that there was a clone that night. The Royal Order whose body was found near the castle ruins died instantly from a wound to the head. But as we learned yesterday, Scootaloo crashed
It
into
could
another
be-
Royal Order while fleeing the forest. A Royal Order who happened, as she testified, to still be breathing. How else can you explain one body breathing?
It could be
and one body not
another.
breathing, if not by admitting the existence of a clone? Furthermore, the body found in the ruins
It could be
doesn't bear any
somebody that
signs
looked
of
like
Scootaloo
Royal
crashing
Order. I
into it.
don't know.
Just a large bruise on the side of the abdomen. Once again, how else can you explain this absence of obvious, distinct bruising if not by admitting the existence of a clone? It doesn't make any sense.
You're right. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
You admit it?
What we'd established before proved clones were involved. And our strongest evidence was Scootaloo hearing breathing from the body she crashed into. But if clones were not involved, then what Scootaloo thought she heard must have been wrong.
You don't mean to say
That the breathing Scootaloo thought she heard coming from Royal Order didn't come from him.
It came from some pony
It must
else.
have come from some pony else.
But Miss Scootaloo was so certain she heard it coming directly from Royal Order.
Yeah.
Then logically, it must have come from some pony who was right up against the body itself. Objection!
Who was up against him though?
how on Equestria could Scootaloo have misseen some pony behind the body?
Well, it was quite dark.
Yeah.
So, if the moon was bright enough that Scootaloo could see she crashed into Royal Order, then she would have seen some pony behind him. There is no feasible way for any pony to hide that way, and thus no way for her to have heard any pony but Royal Order breathing. Nothing short of a child could have even the slightest chance.
Child? No, that's ridiculous. There wasn't any pony like that who would have had a chance to... Oh no.
Athena? What is it this time?
Maybe I'm wrong. I gotta be. But all my instincts are telling me, screaming at me.
Miss Sykes? Do you need me to call a recess? You appear ill.
I do? I mean, I'm not. Prosecutor Luna?
Hmm? What is it, Miss Sykes?
Before I answer your rebuttal, I want to confirm 2 more things. By asking Silver Spoon and Sweetie Belle to retake the stand.
Miss Sykes, I'm not sure what you're planning now, but very well. The prosecution won't object to this.
Your Honor?
Yes, quite right. The court accepts this proposal.
Athena?
Silver Spoon? When you were chasing after Scootaloo and Turning Page, you were headed towards the crossroads, right?
Yeah, that was before I found Sweetie Belle.
Previously, Zecora testified that she was headed towards the castle. She would have been on the same road as you were. Before you found Sweetie Belle, did you ever run into Zecora?
Run into? No, actually, I just saw her coming and hid.
You hid?
Yeah, I just jumped away into the forest so that she wouldn't see me.
What?
But that must mean
The breathing.
you were the shadowy figure Zecora saw leave out of her way?
That can't be right. Turning Page said he was the one whom Zecora saw.
Yeah.
But Zecora never got a good look at that figure.
No, she said
All
it, yeah.
she could tell was that it was a child.
Yeah.
And think about what we figured out just now, too. About Sugar Stamp's story.
She couldn't have missed seeing Silver Spoon if she saw both Zecora and Turning Page. But that was a lie, wasn't it? Just like the rest of her confession.
Right. But that leaves us with a missing bit of information. Sugar Stamp's story initially told us where Turning Page was after the blackmail deal went bad. But now that it's been shown to be a lie, and that neither Silver Spoon nor Zecora saw him, the question becomes, where did Turning Page actually go?
Indeed. His disappearance cannot be accounted for.
Oh my god.
Huh? Miss Sykes?
Keep it together, Athena.
Yeah. No way.
Sweetie Belle.
Turning.
Huh?
Turning.
What is it, Athena?
That tape you sent. We've established you sent it, and how, but there's still something left unanswered. Why Turning Page? You could have implicated Diamond Tiara or even Silver Spoon, since you knew they'd been blackmailing you and your friends. But why specifically him?
So scared for this.
It's because of what I overheard when I was hiding behind the statue before I passed out.
What did you hear?
Exactly what I wrote on the anonymous tip, Princess Twilight.
What you wrote?
I thought if I wrote that, it would be enough to save Scootaloo. Even though it'd make her really, really sad.
Thank you. Both of you.
Oh my god.
And there it is. The last detail I needed. The last detail I actually wanted.
So you've confirmed those 2 things you were looking for, Miss Sykes. But what now?
I'm even stunned.
Can I do this? I don't know if I can. Or if I even want to. I don't think I've ever wanted to be proven more wrong in my entire life. And yet, all the pieces of this ugly, frustrating, terrible puzzle have finally come together to form the complete, tragic picture. All I
It's
have to do
actually
is hesitate.
messed up.
But if I do that, some pony's innocence would be destroyed. And what's more,
It's actually really, really messed up.
There is one thing even more important than the trial's outcome. The truth.
You're right, boss. I have to do this. Prosecutor Luna, Your Honor, Twilight.
Are we really going to do this? Is this really going to happen?
Thanks to what we've just heard, I figured it out. The answer to the question that's been at the center of everything.
You mean the question of who killed Royal Order?
Yeah.
Who? There's only one pony who could have, and that's the son of the victim himself.
Goodbye. 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 I'm gone. Come on, turn in. Turn a leaf now and show your true self. Turn over your true self.
You mean the breathing and lack of bruising?
Yes, Your Honor. That breathing could not have come from the victim himself, but instead, some pony sitting right up against him.
Holy crap!
They'd have to be small.
Small as a child.
That night, there were 5 children in the forest. 4 of them, Diamond Tiara,
Yep,
Silver Spoon,
yep.
Sweet and Sweetie Belle, have all been accounted for.
Yes, that's right.
As we established, the 5th, Turning Page, somehow vanished.
Yeah.
He could only have appeared to do so if he was hidden in plain sight.
Oh my.
Hiding next to the body of Royal Order that lay in the middle of the crossroads. Therefore, the breathing that Scootaloo heard
Was.
had to come from him.
That's right. That explains it.
Then what of the lack of bruises on Royal Order?
All this time, we thought that Scootaloo had crashed into him. But now that we know Turning Page was there too, we can perfectly understand why Royal Order suffered no bruises from the scooter. It's because Scootaloo instead crashed into Turning Page himself.
Objection! That is a completely impossible claim, defense. Turning Page showed no signs of injury during or after the event.
That's because we haven't searched him yet.
Yep.
Your Honor, the defense formally requests that Turning be searched for signs of bruising.
No! The prosecution refuses to allow this. I will not.
It's all right, Princess Luna. If Miss Sykes wants me to be searched, then I'll allow it.
What? Turning Page, no! Don't you see what this means for you?
That's enough, Prosecutor Luna. Bailiff, search the young coat immediately for any signs of bruising. Let us see the truth once and for all.
Oh my god.
Is that?
Oh my god.
Bruise?
It's a bruise.
On the right side.
No! This cannot be!
That's a bruise. That's a bruise.
Your Honor, this proves that Turning Page is the one responsible for the death of Objection.
Fina. Oh my god, fair.
Fair devotion?
Fair devotion.
That's enough, Miss Sykes. I won't have you disparage my son anymore. Especially not for a crime he didn't commit.
What do you mean? The bruise tells us.
It tells us, yes, he got them from when Scootaloo crashed into him. But that's all. It says nothing about his culpability, despite what you have been arguing.
But respectfully, Miss Devotion, Turning Page, having submitted himself for examination, has indicated his guilt.
That is only because his father raised him to take responsibility. even for the things he has no control over. Your Honor, my son didn't kill my husband. I did.
You what?
What the hell's going on?
Order in the court!
What is going on?
Miss Devotion, you confessed to murdering your husband?
But how?
You just testified earlier.
How? But how?
And I still stand by the majority of my testimony. But I must make one additional statement.
But how though, Fair? How?
Sugar Stamp said that she saw Sweetie Belle attack Royal Order, but that was a lie. In actuality, the pony who attacked him, leading to him being impaled at the statue's base, was me.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, she's protecting him.
I see.
Fair.
Well, as this runs counter to your argument, what do you think, Miss Sykes?
Your Honor, the defense opposes accepting this new confession.
What?
On what grounds?
Fabrication.
On the grounds that it utters everything. We can't just take this at face value. If we want to reach a satisfying conclusion to this whole case, we need to hear one final testimony from Miss Devotion.
Go on.
Athena's right, Your
Yeah.
Honor. There's no way to determine if we can trust this confession until we hear exactly what Fair Devotion did that night.
Prosecutor Luna, do you have any objections?
She's like me. she.
No. Your Honor, I do not.
No.
The prosecution would also like to hear this final testimony from this final witness for the final time.
Very well. The court accepts the proposal. Miss Devotion, you will testify as to what happened between you and Royal Order on the night of his murder. Is that understood?
Very well, Your Honor.
This is it. With this, we'll finally be able to put an end to this ordeal. The truth is out in the open now. And all that's left to shield it is one final testimony from Miss Devotion.
Oh my God! No! No! He ends there. No! No! God, no! Oh! Oh my God! Best episode overall. Oh my God. Wow. This episode cooked. This episode cooked twice as better as it ever did. It smells great. Oh my God, they've really put a lot of spices in this one. Wow. God, we were looking to pin it on Private Eye, pin it on Sweetie Belle at one point. But then at the end, we find out where the actual reasoning for Turning Page's disappearance was because of hid from plain sight from Sugar Stamp, just to get behind the... He somehow got behind the body. He just rushed back got behind the body of Royal Order and made the breathing sounds. So all these cases with the impalement at the statue, the scooter that crashed into him, and there was one other case as well. Blood on the trees. Oh my God, turn in, move the body. Oh, God. Oh my God. And now we've got the mother of the child, Fair Devotion, who's pleading her son's innocence, and she is going to take action for the murders of her husband, and she's up there in court now delivering one big testimony, and we're about to find that out in the next following episode itself. I cannot wait for the next one. I really cannot wait for the next episode. Case 2, episode 9. It is going to be one big testimony. So yeah, and this is the conclusion episode. That's the conclusion episode. I'm on the episode for the next one. Case 2, episode 9 is called The Resolve. Big key word for what Princess Luna has given to Athena Sykes. It is the resolve of this case that she needs to bring. So the next episode is called The Resolve of Athena Sykes. The resolve of this case and the resolve of bringing justice to the court in quite an excruciatingly way, but the evidence there are what we've been connecting the case wise, and everything that we've heard. Yeah. He just yeah. It does lead up to turning. It does lead up to turning at the end, for his disappearance out of plain sight from Sugar Stamp's vision. Alright, we're going to watch the next episode. 8.5. A Hanging Omen. It's very short. Very, very short. 2 minutes this is. So we're going to watch this episode and see what happens.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. So book summer now.
Today's not my day. They're so cute. They kind of look like cheese.
Alright, this is Case 2, episode 8.5. Ace Attorney, Elements of Justice, A Hanging Omen. And let's begin this in 3, 2, 1, go. Who is this?
Oh, wait! Mr. Detective, sir.
Yes, my dear?
I was just wondering, all of that with the costumes, was that really necessary?
Necessary? Is it necessary for ponies to wear items of clothing at all, Miss Burnett?
Wait!
Well,
Is this going back to the first case?
I suppose.
Precisely. But we do it anyway because it's enjoyable. Besides, all of them were simply hanging there, the poor things. Your hard work was just not being given the reverence it deserved.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Detective. But
that's not what you chased me down to ask me, is it? I wager you're really here to inquire about my little discovery?
Yes. I heard from Playwright. He said...
Playwright, yeah.
Read on Rose death?
Indeed I have. Are you curious as to what it is?
I already know. I'm sorry. But I don't believe it. There's no way it's true.
The truth can, in one way, be likened to that of a light at the end of a long tunnel. Quite often, said light can appear with a blinding intensity, making one unwilling to open their eyes upon reaching it.
But...
That being said, this is merely a lead, after all. For now.
So, you mean it's just a possibility? One of many?
It's been a long while since we've gotten into the first case.
If this was only a possibility, I wouldn't consider it a very valuable lead. One that I intend to pursue.
But sir, this isn't a possibility. This can't be right.
Miss Pamela, as much as it pains me to say, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
No.
Now I must bid you farewell. My time is precious, and there are a great many things still to do.
Sir, wait!
I cannot stay, my dear. I must be swift. The game is a hoof.
Oh, Ovi. It can't be true. Can it?
One that I intend to pursue.
But sir, this isn't a possibility. This can't be right.
The game is a hoof.
Again, going back to the first case of Elements of Justice, it's been a long while that we've had that first case. But we know that overall concept died by suicide. But it's the method of how his suicide was attempted. And this brings up to possibly... I mean, it couldn't be Coco Palmel, but Rarity was there at the scene, wasn't she? At that episode. Surely not. Could it? Surely Rarity did not have an involvement in this. Could she? If Rarity... Oh my god. Rarity's family is... Oh, it's a bit messed up, really. First we got Sweetie Belle, who's got the one about the anonymous tip, because she was the one who sent the tip. With the magazines and all that stuff. So she fabricated it because she's the true culprit of it. And now we're getting Rarity, who's gonna be the culprit of possibly linked with the, with the murder of Concept. Oh my god! If the case 2 case isn't this drastic enough, we need to go. They were like, we need to go back and take a deeper dive down into what could be hanging, looming over that last case. You know, there's still something that needs to be worth prodding about. You know, something that needs to be worth prodding about. You cannot sleep on this You cannot sleep on this project. You cannot sleep on this project whatsoever. You cannot sleep at all. Wow. Fantastic. Fantastic episode overall. For Case 2, Episode 8. And that 8.5 was a glimpse of what we've missed on that first case. What we've missed out. And we need to focus back on that bit going into Case 3. Just focus back on that bit. But that's going to be for Case 3. As of now, everybody, that's going to do it. Oh my god. Wow. Surprising revelations have happened. Surprising revelations. But I enjoyed it. Very much so. If you have enjoyed my reaction to both Episode 8 and 8.5 of Case 2, then make sure to hit the like button down below. And if you're new to my channel and want to check out more of my videos, then you can by hitting that subscribe button and hitting that notification bell for updating content when I upload my next video. Don't forget to check out all my socials. They'll be down below in the description. I'll leave both the original videos by the Ace Attorney Elements of Justice channel, both for Episode 8 and 8.5. And leave your comments on what you thought about these episodes. Did you enjoy them? Did you not? Did you knew all along that it was going to be Turning Page? That was going to be the true culprit behind his father's death? Or is Fair Devotion on your radar all along? Who did you have? Who did you have as the murder suspect? I didn't know what I had, really. I didn't know what I had. I was in it for the journey. I was in this for the journey overall. And my God, what a journey. What an absolute journey this has been. Definitely. So, with that being said, everybody, I'll see you all for the final conclusion of the case of Case 2, Episode 9, The Resolve of Athena Sykes. Bye for now.